Welcome back to the CAMdroid tutorial. Let's start with a simple example. Most CAD systems will have you put in a virtual circle and then build off that. CAMdroid will use the feature itself. So I'm going to put in a long press on the arc, which will add a CX0 and CY0. Then angle 0 for 12 o'clock, angle 90 for 3 o'clock, and then a radius of 32. And I'm going to do the next radius, arc CX 40, CY0, A0, A90. You can see that with a limited amount of information in CAMdroid, we'll actually try to do something from that information. So we're just going to plow on and put the finish angle and then the radius. Now if I press insert and put a line, CAMdroid has actually kept the longer half of the first radius. CAMdroid will always keep the longest part of a feature when it does a join. So if we reduce this to 10 degrees, now we haven't quite reached the intersection point, so we don't have a line at all. If we put in 30 degrees, then the end of this arc grade is here, but the longest part of the feature is there, so that's been kept with a line onto this, and then the start of 0, angle 0 is there, just a little short stub. The intersection point is about 17 degrees. We could put in 20. As long as we've just gone past the intersection point, everything should work fine. Now to finish this off, we'll have more features too. Because it's symmetrical, we'll just copy in Y and then copy in X, and that's the job done. We'll pop into inspect, where we can click on features or click through the features. There's a pile of information on each feature so that you can check everything is correct, and then we just need to step through the G code and make sure there's no problems. Now whether this is a pocket or an island will depend on how you set it up. Normally I would use this as a sub-program, and the main program will call up the tool, p-position, anything else. And then if we need to make any changes, then it would only be making changes to the sub-program. Now if we want to start somewhere else, if we wanted to start on that feature for example, then we can reorder N value. The N values will pop up and we want N 5.3, and now when we go into G code, our first feature will be the end, and it will run from there. And if we wanted to run the other way, we just add in the reverse action key and then pop into G code. So it will now start the other side of the feature and run the other way. Okay, so let's do another example. We'll go into Files, New Project. I don't want to save it, but clear all, and we'll start again with the top feature. So that's arc CX0, CY 50, angle 0, angle 90. This time it does finish on the 90 degrees. 20. Then we're going to do a line to Y20. And then I'm going to use complete rotation CPR to finish it off. So CPR, now we have a join, so we'll use the J code, and then we have 4 pieces. If I put in J3, we'll have 3 pieces, 4, 5, you get the picture. And we have a join here. If we don't put a radius in, it'll just do a straight join. So we're going to put this R5 in. We now have 3 out of the 4 joins. If we go slightly past the intersection point, then we get our final join, and for some reason it'll accept that and put the radius in, but won't accept 20. But as long as we've gone past the point of intersection, everything will work fine. So we can pop into inspect, run through, check everything, and then step through the G code, make sure everything's correct. Okay, now we can actually add in these drilled holes. So I'm going to press enter, go on to mode 3, hole with a long press, diameter 18. That's our first one. Hole CX0 CY minus 50, which is part of that PCD. Diameter 18, and then I'm going to use PCD with a diameter 100, which is that, and then we've got 3 holes with a diameter of 12, and we just have an indication where those holes could go. So we need a quantity of holes, so there are 4 of on the PCD, but we don't want one of them. So the second Q value, Q3, will take away one of the holes, and then I'm going to put the start angle minus 90 degrees. Now we have our 3 12mm holes all in place. Into inspect, we shall go through into G code. The first program we have is the profile, and we have a full set of holes for a pilot drill, center drill, and then we have programs then with the 12mm holes and another program with the 18mm holes. Once again, I would usually do these with subroutines, and the main program would call up the required tools, and we can step through the profile, keep going, and center drilling, and then the holes then will be ordered in size. So the 12mm holes, and then the 2 18s. Okay. Okay, so let's do another similar example. Once again, I'm going to start at 12 o'clock. To use complete rotation, we generally need to start at 12 o'clock and do the first part of our profile, and then complete rotation then can spin the rest around. So arc CX0, CY PCD's 440. We could put 440 in and divide it by 2. A0, A90, R50. If we go through to inspect, the center CY is at 220, which has finished that sum. But if we're on that line, we press equals, then it will put the result of the sum on CY. Now then, so we want to spin this round, so we're going to use complete rotation again. Join again, because we've got to join in radius. A J of 3, because we've got 3 pieces, and then R350. And we just add the holes. Mole 3, hole diameter 70, PCD diameter 440, hole diameter 30, quantity 3. Now, if our part is drawn like this, it's easy to put it in. If we were given the details down here on the drawing, as long as we entered the part in from 12 o'clock at the top, that's how the complete rotation will work. But then if we wanted to machine this at a different angle, if we go into More 2 and rotate, then we can rotate it around the center to a given angle, say 30 degrees, so we could then machine it all at that angle. Into inspect, into G-code, we want M99s. There's our set of programs. We can step through, center drill, and there we have it. Okay, so let's do another example. I'm going to start on the datum here for this line. I'm going to start at X and Y0, so a long press on the line key will add in X and Y0. Then I'm going to go to Y50, and then line X 100, line Y0, and line X0. So I'm now going to click on this feature here and then insert the radius R17. Again, I'm going to click on the next feature on, insert arc R17. I'm going to click on this feature and insert a chamfer of R12. So that'll be this. And then finally press enter and then add the last chamfer R12. Now we don't have anything coming after this at the moment, so if we go into More 1 end profile, and then that will end the profile. So far so good. So now we have this radius which is cut in on the top. So I'm going to add that CX50. CY for some reason I haven't written on the drawing, but we'll put 58. We'll start at 270. As you can see, CAMdroid is assuming that we're coming off the end of this chamfer for the minute, but if we put in a second angle, it'll know we're not trying to do that. And then the R18, and then finally we want to make it counterclockwise. So press enter, more, 4, cut, and then we want N3, which is the line, and then N10, which is our arc. That'll just cut that in there, and as long as we've got 2 identical radiuses leading in and out, then we just need to put the radius in, R5, R6, whatever, and in they pop. So we can once again inspect what we've got, make sure everything's correct, and then step through the G-code and make sure that works properly. Okay, one last example. Let's start here. So long press on arc to get the CX0 and CY0. Start angle, some approximation of 180 degrees to 0 degrees, 12.7. Okay, next arc, CX67, CY0, angle, I'm going to try -10 from 12 o'clock to, I'm going to put 180 in for the minute, and our radius of 30, and then insert a line. Right, so that hasn't arrived, so we probably want to go a touch further back, -20 degrees. Yep, that's fine. Right, so let's do this R75, CX0, CY0. I'm going to put in 120 degrees. That's a bit too much, probably, to A0. 75.25, and we want to go clockwise. That was supposed to be 90. Right, so now just insert arc R7, which is this one, which has gone slightly awry because this arc is slightly too long. So we'll start 110 degrees. Oh, there we are. And it's working. Now this arc is going from 90 degrees to 270 degrees. So I'm just going to put arc A270, 8.25, and it's worked out that it should be counterclockwise from the previous item. So now we just want to pop this arc in. Arc. And we'll put the Y value 17.4 and the radius 58.25. Now this little radius here will have an angle of, well, it's more than 180. We'll call it 200 and a radius of 5. Then our finish line and then an end profile. Okay, I hope you've learned something. Thanks for watching.